Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome back to another meta guide video. I'm making these once a week because the rotations are once a week instead of every other week. So really cool. And we're taking a look at the Retro Cup. So for this meta, you cannot use Fairy, Dark, or Steel types. So anything introduced after Generation 1 or the Kanto League is not eligible. Those typings are not eligible. If the Pokemon happens to have the move, for example, Cresselia has Moonblast, you could still use that move, but you can't use those typings. So a really cool meta, and it's cool that they're bringing it back even though it's only for a week. So let's just go ahead and dive right into it, see what I think is going to be the best Pokemon and what teams I think might be pretty good and what teams I'll probably try as well, because I'll be playing the Retro Cup probably most of next week, or the Retro Cup begins tomorrow by the time you're seeing this video. So anyway, taking a look at the S tier Cresselia, this Pokemon is going to be everywhere. It's so tanky. I mean, the moveset is just amazing. Doesn't get walled by Steel types because Steel types are not eligible. I mean, there's multiple good movesets. I personally am a big fan of Grass Knot and Moonblast, so that's probably the moveset I would go, but it depends on your team. Future Sight could come in handy. All depends on your team. Then moving on to Wolverine or Shadow Wolverine, really powerful Pokemon. I mean, this is good in every meta. It's good in every league, right? That's so crazy. Every meta that Wolverine is eligible in, it's good at. I don't need to go down the line and tell you about that. But moving on, we have a Dragon type. We have Altaria. So Altaria, Dragon Pokemon are going to be really good in this meta. They really are. I could picture triple Dragon teams, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me because there's no Fairy types. So nothing that resists the Dragon Breath or Dragon Tail, whatever the fast move is. Steel types are not eligible. Again, they're not going to resist Dragon types, so nothing in this meta, as far as I'm aware, and let me know if I'm wrong, but I don't think anything resists Dragon. It's just so OP in this meta, so you'll probably see multiple Dragons. Yeah, double Dragon teams for sure, no doubt about it. Then we have Lickitung. Lickitung is an absolute tank. I would recommend the XL one. If you don't have XL one, probably wouldn't run Lickitung, but it really needs to be XL'd. I have a decent one. It's not built yet. I don't have quite enough XL candy, but it's like 100 something, so it's decent. I may build it. I'm not sure. I may want to hold off for a better one, but either way, Lickitung is going to be a great Pokemon, definitely up there, and you'll see it. I mean, you'll see it. Anytime Lickitung is eligible, it's a Pokemon you see quite a bit. You know, that Lick, Body Slam, Power Whip, so bulky, so fast, so powerful as well. So really strong Pokemon there. Then the A tier, we do have Nidoqueen or Shadow Nidoqueen. This is another great Pokemon. I mean, we know how good Poison Jab and Poison Fang are. It gets to it super fast. Debuffs the Pokemon guaranteed. It does have to watch out for the ice types like the Wolverine, like the Abomasnow. Wolverine probably going to be the most common one, but you get it. It's got to watch out for that. But other than that, it does pretty well. You know, for the most part, it do pretty well. Obviously, it has to watch out for Hypno if you run into a Hypno. You know, it's weak to Psychic, or Confusion, Psychic moves. But it's a pretty good Pokemon, of course. Metacham going to be the best fighting type that's eligible. Scrafty is a Dark type, so it's not eligible. Metacham is going to be the best fighting type that you'll see. Going to do well, of course, against those Ice types, even against Lickitung, which is a normal type. But Lickitung can also put up a fight against Metacham. What moveset should he run on Metacham? Well, it all depends. I personally probably like the Power Punch Psychic combination, but as I said, Ice Punch you may want to consider in this meta because Dragons are going to be all over the place, so Ice Punch is definitely going to be doing well. So maybe Ice Punch Psychic in this meta may be the way to go, but either way, moving on to Trevenant, another great Pokemon, of course. This is one that's good in almost every meta as well. I mean, you'll see this one. It does get walled by some things, but in this meta, it's going to be doing pretty well. It does have to watch out for, like, Lickitung, of course, but going to be doing pretty well. Yeah, pretty good Pokemon, really good Pokemon. Moving on, we have another Dragon type, Dragalge, Dragon Tail. As I said, you know, nothing resists Dragon attacks in this meta, so Dragon's going to be absolutely dominating this meta. We have Abomasnow, which Abomasnow's okay. I don't think it's going to be as good as Wolverine, but, you know, it's an okay option for you, but I would go with Wolverine. I personally like Wolverine, but if you need the grass coverage on your team, you could go with Abomasnow. Defense Deoxys, super bulky Pokemon, going to be doing well against a lot of things in this meta. You know, even against, like, you know, it's just going to do well, even against those Dragon Tail users. I mean, You know, it's going to be hitting for neutral damage. Well, not neutral. Actually, no, not neutral against Altaria or Dragalge. So it's going to be hitting resisted damage with counters. But Psycho Boost is super effective. Rock Slide is super effective towards Altaria. Psycho Boost is super effective towards Dragalge. So it has that going for it. And we know how tanky it is. So it's a great Pokemon, great safe swap all around. So I'm sure, I mean, I know you'll see Deoxys for sure. Then Hakamo-o, another Dragon Tail user. If you happen to have one, which I do, I might want to consider using this, to be honest. I think it's a great Pokemon. As I said, double Dragon Tail use is going to be fantastic in this meta, so we'll talk about that as we get to the solid team options. Then we have the other options. We have, so we talked about Hakamo-o, we have kommo-o in this one, which not as bulky in the Great League. It's still a good Pokemon. It has Dragon Tail. It's a great Pokemon, so you'll probably see this. Honestly, I wonder if anybody would run like Dragalge, Hakamo-o, and kommo-o. Probably not. I mean, Triple Dragon, Triple Dragon could be okay. Triple Dragon Tail uses. The only thing is the Ice types. If you battle an Ice type, it could be tricky like Walrein, and you probably will. I might try it for fun, just to have fun. We'll see, we'll see. But either way, next up we have another Ice type, Celio. Walrein is definitely better than Celio, but Celio is another option for you. Then we have Dragonair, which is another Dragon Breath user. But again, I think the other Dragon types that we mentioned, like Altaria, Hakamo-o, Dragalge, I think those are going to be better than Dragonair. Similar to Druddigon as well, but that's another dragon for you. And Goodra. So as I told you, multiple dragons. You know, the dragons in the B tier, the A, or the S tier, whatever, those are going to be better in my opinion. But you could see Druddigon, you could see Dragonair, right? Those could be pretty good. Goodra as well. If you're just having fun, you might see it. Moving on, we have another Ice type. We have Dewgong. So Dewgong, as we know, debuffs the opponent, debuffs City. Pretty good Pokemon. It's actually really good. It's just, I personally, I love Walrein, so I'm going to stick with Walrein as being the #1 Ice type user. If you're going double Ice, though, and we're going to be talking about double Ice in the solid team options, I think Dewgong could be okay, but, you know, I love Walrein, so let's just put it that way. Then we have Swampert. Now, Swampert obviously is a great Pokemon pretty much anytime it's eligible, and it's still good in the Retro Cup, but to be honest, there's a lot of things that resist Hydro Cannon. We have Trevenant, we have the Dragon types that resist it, right? Walrein, the other Ice Pokemon. So a lot of Pokemon resist Hydro Cannon. Cresselia with Grass Knot going to be KOing Swampert. So it's still a good Pokemon. It's still going to do well against like Nidoqueen, and it could still do well against Deoxys, doing a lot of damage, right, with Hydro Cannon. But I don't think it's going to be as good in this meta, or as common, I should say. But next up we have Hypno, or Shadow Hypno. Going to be a pretty decent Pokemon. Hypno's always a good Pokemon because you never know what move set it's going to have, right? It could have any moveset. Usually it's Thunder Punch and something else. Maybe it's Focus Blast, maybe it's Shadow Ball, maybe it's another Elemental Punch. But, you know, it's a pretty solid Pokemon. Then Tropius, I think, is maybe could be okay. But again, it's going to get walled by a lot of things. Walrein, other Ice types, the Dragon types as well. So, nah, could be pretty dangerous to use Tropius in this meta. And then we have Snorlax. Snorlax is a tank. I love Lickitung as the Lick user, so I prefer that over Snorlax in this meta. But if you don't have an XL Lickitung, Snorlax could be a decent replacement because Body Slam, it's pretty fast, right? We know it with Lickitung. Then Vigoroth and Machamp. So, two fighting uses. I mean, well, Vigoroth is not a fighting type, but it has counters. So, both of those are pretty good as well, of course. Double counter uses, anyone, right? I mean, it could be pretty good. So, anyway, these are my predictions of what I think are going to be good. Let me know what you think. We're going to move on to the solid team options for the Retro Cup, and here we go. So, we have 6 teams for you, a lot of ABB teams, and we're just going to talk about them a little bit. So the first team, as I mentioned, double Dragon Tail uses could be good. So I have Medicham, and as I said, double Dragon Tail uses Hakamo-o and Dragalge. You could go with other Dragon types. You could go with Altaria instead of Hakamo-o if you don't have it. Even like kommo-o, if you happen to have evolved it or something, you could go with that. But I do think this could be decent because you have the fighting type in the lead that can handle like the Walrein if you happen to battle a Walrein, which to be honest, I think Walrein is going to be so common, or other ice types like Abomasnow. Then you have, or Celio, right? Then you have the Medicham to handle that. And the Dragon types just going to be going to town, doing a lot of neutral damage or super effective damage with Dragon Tail. It's just going to be so powerful, right? Because nothing resists Dragon in this meta. So I think Double Dragon definitely going to be really powerful. You do have to watch out for the ice types. That's why I put the fighting type in the lead. And then next up we have Cresselia with double ice. So Cresselia in the lead, then Celio and Walrein, or Shadow Celio and Shadow Walrein, whichever ones you have, whichever ones you prefer. I probably prefer the Shadow versions because they're powerful, but this team will handle the double dragon team really well if it happens to be common. I don't really know, but I mean, double ice, I mean, we know how fast it is. Body slam on Celio, right? Walrein, icicle spear, super fast, of course. You happen to run into a fighting type like Machamp or Medicham, you have Cresselia with Moonblast, does well against those Pokemon. And then other than that, I mean, those two really don't have much to worry about. I mean, they do have to worry about Lickitung with Power Whip, so that is a concern. But, I mean, you could lure it out with, like, a Celio and still get a lot of damage off with Body Slam and then bring in Cresselia. I think Lickitung would be difficult for this team if you happen to battle a Lickitung. But I think it's an interesting team that I could see working. Next up, we have a really cool team, Trevenant in the lead with Lickitung as a safe swap and Cresselia. Actually, both of those Pokemon in the back are incredible safe swaps. It all depends what your opponent leads with. So Lickitung and Cresselia are both good safe swaps. But yeah, I think it's a pretty solid team, of course. If you lose the lead to like Walrein, well, that's kind of like that's a losing lead, right? But I mean, you do a lot with C-Bomb, but I'm just saying, like, I think Trevenant loses to Walrein. But either way, lose that lead, you can safe swap into Lickitung. They're probably going to back out, and you have Lickitung, of course. And then you have Cresselia later for the Walrein with Grass Knot. So I think it's a pretty interesting team. Then we're moving on to another team. We have double counter users, double fighters. We have Trevenant with Medicham and Machamp, or Shadow Machamp. Probably go with the Shadow version. It's definitely a lot stronger. But yeah, double counter users, of course, going to be doing well against Walrein. I think Walrein is going to be really common, as I mentioned, and Lickitung. So they're both going to be fighting up Lickitung and Walrein, doing a lot of damage. And then the Trevenant will be able to handle Cresselia if you run into it, which you will, because Cresselia is amazing for this meta. So you could lure out the possible Cresselia with Medicham. And then take it out later on with Trevenant, maybe farm it down, and then have Machamp. Maybe Machamp can go to town with Shield. We'll see. But I do think it could be an interesting team, pretty solid team at that. Then we have another team, Nidoqueen in the lead with Lickitung and Cresselia. So again, similar situation to the Trevenant lead, Lickitung, Cresselia. Same scenario, if you run into a Walrein in the lead, you have two answers to Walrein in the back. So removing the Trevenant and adding the Nidoqueen, I think that team could be pretty good as well. A lot of Lickitungs and a lot of Cresselias on all of these teams, but it makes sense, right? The next team we have, and the final team in this suggestion, is going to be Altaria with Walrein and Lickitung in the back. So Lickitung, again, being the safe swap. If you lead Altaria, you don't have to worry about anything resisting the Dragon Breath. You do have to worry about Walrein. So if you want an Ice type, so if you run into an Ice type, probably switch out into, I would say, Walrein, because you don't want to go into the Lickitung, because then they'll switch out and you'll have a great answer later on for like a Walrein. So you got to go into the Walrein. But I think these teams could be interesting, guys. Let me know what you think about these teams and this video, and let me know what you plan on using in your Retro Cup battles. Do you have a team picked out? These are just some suggestions that I thought of as I was doing research. Obviously, other teams and other Pokemon will probably surface, and I'm sure of it. But either way, that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.